All right, welcome to the actual episode 6 of the Splatt Show.
So six.
I know last time I might have said it was episode 6, and that was most certainly a lie. So I'm not sorry. I'm just not. But anyways, we got another great show for you in this new year. We're gonna kick it off with an old classic called "Gone Home." Recently went free for a day, and I decided to stop being a piece of shit and check it out finally. So Sam gave it a run back himself, and we're going to tell you all about our thoughts and about how this cool little thing it does called environmental storytelling. So,
And there's going to be spoilers.
yeah, let's go ahead and say there will be spoilers. I think the game is old enough. It released August 15th, 2013. Don't ask me how I know that. I just do. But yeah, so you've had about 3 years to play it. It only takes.
If you haven't played it, you should play it.
Yeah, and it only takes a couple hours. So really, you don't have any excuses. If you're listening to this podcast right now, just pull over your car, whatever you need to do, and then download it onto your iPad or something. Maybe it's on iPad, probably.
Download it to your car stereo.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to play. $20 currently. The free deal is over. Sorry. Made in Unity, made by this cool company called the Fulbright Company. Sam, what do you think?
Okay, well, I love this game. I first played it like a few years ago, closer to when it came out. I love it. It makes me cry when I play it, and it's very emotional. And it's very unique. It's a very unique story in the context of video games, and I love all the references to indie music, and it's just something special.
Yeah. I didn't really know what to expect going in. I had like an inkling of kind of what maybe a little bit of the backbone was, but I didn't really understand like how much of a just exploratory experience it was, and I really enjoyed that. I just every step of the way was just like so amazed because like you're basically just exploring the past of this house, right? You're not talking with anyone. You're not like seeing anything new. It's all like recorded, on a paper. You can read notes and things like that, or you can find like audio recordings. But it's just telling the most rich story, and in this really cool way where like you kind of feel like a detective a little bit, you get to draw the lines between things. They're not like explicitly told to you.
They're definitely, every little object that you look at has a purpose, but it's not like that cut and dry.
Yeah. And I think, I think this one's kind of a gimme, but it handled the controls really well. There's obviously not like a ton to it, but I think it like could have overburdened itself with like a really complex inventory and all sorts of stuff, but it really tries to keep you on the idea of you want to like explore the story. Yeah, so I thought that was cool. I like that I really haven't seen a lot like it. I'm positive there have been, and since there have been more games like it, but I just really like playing stuff that's super out of my comfort zone or like totally new, so totally enjoyed that. And then this is just like resonates with my childhood self, but this house that you're exploring is kind of this big mansion, and it's got all these secret tunnels and passageways, and like not only does that lend well because it like you unlock them and you can then like backtrack through the house faster and things, but like secret tunnels are just awesome, man. Like I think if I ever build a house, it's got to have at least 8 secret tunnels in it.
8. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But how long? I think it took me probably close to 3 hours to wrap up.
Yeah. Really short game.
Yeah. So certainly something you can do in one sitting if you got an afternoon or something.
I think it's best played in one sitting too. So
yeah, I'd agree. You really kind of get the whole gist, because you're this older sister coming home, and basically your whole family's out, and as you go, you realize that your sister has maybe run away or something, and so you're basically looking around this house trying to put together that, and in the meantime you're kind of learning everything that happened while you were out of the country in your family, like it's like if you go off to school and like what happens with your mom, dad, and little brother or something like that,
Right. So there's like a main, I would say kind of the main story is regarding your sister and where's your sister, and that's like kind of the main draw. But there's also each character is kind of fully developed. I mean, despite the fact you never meet any of these characters, there's a mom subplot and the dad subplot, and the subplot of the marriage of the mom and dad, and there's even like other little, even smaller subplots. Like I think there's one subplot of like an uncle, and like they try and kind of hint at the fact that the uncle's ghost is like in the house, and that the purpose of that seems to be to try and almost bring like a horror element into the game, or like make you think that everybody is gone because something like sinister happened, which turns out not to be the case at all. Like the ghost thing never pans out.
Spoilers.
But
yeah.
I think that's pretty awesome how they string you along a little bit. It's like, I'm in this big empty house. Is this going to be a horror game?
Yeah. And so, yeah, kind of in a similar vein about the empty house. When you walk in, you're kind of presented with like stairs up, and then there's like there's like a left wing and a right wing. Excuse me. And I definitely, when I started playing, I was like, I picked, I don't know, I think the right wing, and I found a door that opened and everything, and I was just kind of going that way, and I was like, wow, I wonder what happened if I had picked the left wing, like this story would be told completely differently or anything like that. But what actually turned out to be is that the left wing is locked from the start, and so as you go, basically you find out that you're being delivered chunks of rooms at a time, if you will, and so there's definitely an order that they are kind of.
It's like a mostly linear story.
Yeah, you're discreetly on rails, if you will. So you could choose to go to the kitchen before the kitchen, or the living room, bathroom or something, but that area is going to encapsulate a certain part of the story that you already have some of the information they wanted you to,
You already have the prerequisite knowledge for all these new things in this area.
Yeah. So I definitely was wondering wow, can they really tell it this out of order? They really let me just wander all over the house? And turns out that wasn't a risk they took, and I would probably agree with it. But I still think that would be an interesting kind of direction to take this. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So at the heart of it, Gone Home is this huge exposition piece of environmental storytelling, which is basically what we've been talking about, where things, whether it be visual or could be, you could I don't know, notes and stuff are kind of maybe blurring the line a little bit out of environmental storytelling, but
because they are just directly telling you the story, but
well, they're they are still indirect because they're not written to you, right? And they're not they're not directly saying hey, here's what happened. It's whoa, by reading this note, I can guess that my dad probably went through this or something, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's the environment is set and you are just exploring it. It's not there's no narrator telling you what happened, or you're not talking with people who are oh yeah, this happened. It's really you exploring. And sometimes what's cool is that you don't even necessarily need to you don't need to give the player any words or voices to tell a story. I think Portal is a good example of that. Like, you know, sometimes there's the writing on the wall, but there's lots of times where you can just kind of see a general disarray in this, like, otherwise what's supposed to be like a pristine lab facility.
Right.
And kind of start to, like, you kind of subconsciously start to, you know, connect the dots and say, wait a minute, like, something must have gone wrong here. Like, this isn't just your average, like, portal gun experiment, you know, because those happen all the time now. So.
Yeah, it's 2017, so
yeah, come on, if you don't know that. And then like Dead Space, I think is another one that does a really good job of that. You know, there's all these creepy crawly monsters, and you'll a lot of the times enter rooms and things like that have like bloody gore all over these like medical tables, and like, you know, and then they'll usually, you know, in that case they'll try and give you an audio log, but even before you listen to that audio log about this like crazed scientist, you're like, something went wrong with this treatment, this experiment, like whatever, like you can tell something's not right, and like that audio log is basically just backing up your kind of assumptions.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's I don't want to call it a trick, but I think it's, you know, something that is becoming more commonly taken advantage of, because you know, it's not always like the best to just explicitly tell a story. And again, like I was saying earlier, you know, one of the things I enjoyed was I kind of had this sense of like detectiveness while playing Gone Home.
Yeah.
And like that's just another like fun mechanic for the player, rather than you just dictating all over them like, this happened, go here. Like
yeah. I think like basing the entire game around like picking up objects and then like drawing conclusions about like members of the family, like doing that, and then still having you know, like at the end still emotionally connect with all the characters.
Yeah, all the characters that you've never met before.
Yeah, you never see them or anything. You like, but you still like get the complete picture of like these people. And I mean, I feel like that is the game's entire purpose, and it kind of like perfectly just achieves that.
Yeah.
In its 3-hour, you know, playtime.
Yeah.
It just accomplishes completely, like, you know, let's have the player go into this family's house. No one's there, but, you know, the player gets this entire story just by looking around the house, rummaging around.
Yeah, and I think it's cool too that they seem to do a good job. I mean, obviously it like, it's a game that like obviously like all you can really do is explore, so it just naturally promotes that. But where's it going with this? Like
it's
if you explore, you can explore further at times, you know. So like it's kind of up to you. Like I know at least there was one part that I didn't ever kind of find the piece I needed to unlock a little bit more of the story.
Right. So there are the little extras.
Yeah, there's like subplots, side plots, and things where like.
But I mean, even in like knowing that, I mean, the game is just so like lean, and it just so much just has its purpose and just executes on it.
Oh
like,
yeah,
perfectly.
Totally. Yeah, it's super rich, and yeah, execution is just the name of it, man. I don't even know. Like, you know, I wonder like what the, you know, all the changes and focus testing and how that all like went over and stuff, you know, because I'm sure there were probably some parts when they started that were like, you know, not coming across. Like players would, you know, read stuff out of the environment. Like I wonder, you know, if some stuff was like more implicitly told in the beginning, and like people were just missing the buzzer, and they were like, all right, let's just add a note that like more heavily alludes to it, and you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Ooh. Hold on. Okay, you just went all robo on us. Try that again.
Oh, I just said, yeah, I would be really interested to see what earlier versions of the game looked like.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, yeah, I'm sure changes were made because it's just like, I don't know, it's just like there's really nothing wrong with it. Like it's just a really great story and a really great like way that they chose to tell the story. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and so if you're watching the video feed right now, I decided to be kind of you can kind of pick up most handheld objects and stuff. So I decided to be a little bit of a rebel, and I would take all the cups off the coasters and like put the coaster just right next to the cup, so that when they came home, they would just be all mad about that. And anything that was on a shelf got thrown on the floor. Like it was a little bit my playground in that way. I was.
And then you got the secret ending where the family comes home and you meet all of them, and then they're like, "Why did you put the cups next to the coasters?"
No, they don't know it was me. They don't know and so they all get home, and then the family as a whole breaks up because this is out of control.
They're like, "What's going on with these cups?
We can't live like this. No one can live like this." Sorry for the massive spoilers. Leave the cups on the coasters unless you're a gangster.
Unless you want the dope ending. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah. I mean, it's also really kind of inspiring. It made me as a developer want to really play with environmental storytelling more, because it's not only like you were saying, this game is lean. I think part of why it's lean is because environmental storytelling is kind of lean and efficient in nature.
Right.
It just doesn't, it's just observation for the most part. If you walk into a room, it's like if you go to a friend's house and you go over to someone's house you've never been to before, and you can just kind of get an idea of how that person lives or whatever. Do they have
also, like you said, I feel like they could have easily thrown in extra mechanics, like an inventory or something, but it would have ultimately just distracted from the game's singular purpose.
Yeah, because I mean, you could walk
they could have said oh, let's put an inventory, that just makes sense for a game like this or something, but they just didn't.
There's a loose sense of inventory, right? You just
but it's not something that you have to manage at all.
Yeah, you just kind of get things and then they're just held and then they're used when they need to be used, kind of thing. You don't have to combine items in your inventory, which, man, that's tangential, but I always kind of feel iffy about the combining in games.
That seems kind of an old school adventure game thing that is, it was just, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but again, yeah, they're doing it right. Yeah, I think every game developer or game company or whatever should do their due diligence and play this game, just for the sheer basis of it gives you such an idea of all the different ways you can tell a story through an environment, and
and that
demonstrates its effectiveness.
And that's also, I mean, we've only touched on the I guess the MDA part of this, but also the story itself, the story itself explores topics that you don't usually see in games.
Yes, that's true. Let's another spoilers warning, but so next couple minutes, muted if you still haven't played it, but go ahead.
Yeah. Spoiler warning.
Hold on. Okay. You okay, you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. You went robo again.
We have
and real quick,
love story.
Before we move on, you popped in the term MDA earlier. I just wanted to clarify that for anyone who's might have missed that. That's a popular framework for kind of defining games, which is mechanics, dynamics, and aesthetics. And that's probably a whole topic within it of itself.
Yeah, I mean, just look it up.
Yeah, but if you're interested, look it up. There's lots of great papers and books on it and things like that. And if you're, it'll help you kind of get some more terminology to define games. So now, anyways, sorry, I just wanted to help anyone out who was confused.
So in this game, we have like, I mean, I would say the main story is like a coming of age queer love story where your little sister like is, you know, realizing that she's gay and she's like falling in love with somebody at school. And then we have like the plot about like the parents' shaky marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the side plots. Where like the mom is, you know, it sounds like she might be falling for like someone at her job, and the dad is like this guy who really wanted to be a novelist, and like now he's writing for like an electronics magazine, and he's like reviewing stereo equipment and stuff, and he just seems like unfulfilled that way, and they seem like, you know, they're not on the same page. So this is like stuff like that, you know, usually through the game medium, like, you know, this stuff doesn't seem like very engaging.
Sorry, say that again.
Am I cutting out?
You cut out a little bit. Doesn't seem very advanced. Just saying, like, did you say?
This stuff. No, I was gonna say this, like, you might not think of this, like, when you think of like games and how games are supposed to make you feel, like the topics of, you know, like marital strife, etc., don't seem like very engaging topics. But like in this game's all about the story, and they completely, you know, put you in the middle of all this through the environmental storytelling, and I think that's like a pretty unique thing for games.
Yeah,
to deal with those specific topics.
Yeah.
Also, as just like a fan of like indie rock and stuff, they have a ton of like
Oh man, okay.
Tapes littered throughout the house that you can pop in and listen to.
Okay, you're back. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and mute you whenever that happens now to save our poor listeners' ears.
Okay.
That one was cool though. It just kind of sounded like I don't know what it is. You know those like bendy plastic like like your voice really started to like sound like some like plucking string or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the last thing you heard me say?
We caught you. You said you liked indie music, and you know there's all these tapes littered throughout that kind of like pay a cool homage to that and show that your sister's into it and things.
Right. So yeah, this is like stuff that you like really never see in games, and this game executes it brilliantly.
Yeah, and kind of an interesting thing is like, you know, not only are they doing they're not only like doing this like almost purely environmental storytelling, but they're tackling kind of kind of bringing to the forefront of games all these like, you know, kind of touchy issues, you know, or you could almost say like, I don't know, you know, like if you were to make up a story about like a messed up family, like, you know, you'd probably say that like there's an affair, there's like, you know, trouble, you know, unfulfilled career. Like it kind of handles it, like kind of mashes all these tropes together, but in like a very natural feeling way where you're not like, wow, they're really just like going for them all here or anything.
It feels very real.
Yeah.
It's very easy to like sympathize with these characters.
Yeah,
and that's the entire like it's the way they do it, the way they like tackle these issues that, you know, usually are not tackled in games, but they tackle it in a way that you could only do with a game.
Right. Yeah, and
so it's just,
I think
it's
it
just
also
a very unique thing.
It also is kind of interesting because there's no like human interaction. You're just kind of taking in all this information, right? So like you're not like mapping this onto a person's face, like one of these characters' faces, or like you don't really have anything to go off other than this like trail that you're putting together, this story on them. And so, you know, I think it really gives you time.
It's like so.
So what? Hello?
I was gonna say, like, it could only be told that. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, I was just gonna say, the way that they did this story could only be done through a game, and uh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and because I feel like at one point I was just kind of like, man, like this dad's kind of a prick or whatever. I think I felt that way a little bit. Like maybe prick's not the right word, but just like not understanding. But then you start to get like backstory onto his life and his life
Right.
before this family and stuff, and it just you get more and more empathy for all the characters, and it just kind of you know makes you think about like just because he doesn't share like the personal troubles that he faces are mostly with his father, right? At least from what we hear in the game, and like it doesn't sound like he like shares that with his family. It just sounds like something he harbors. And so like it just
Yeah.
kind of makes you think twice about you know when you want to judge someone like that, or it's the whole picture is pretty important. Yeah, so I mean, like, yeah, not only does it play well, but it's just got all this like this environmental storytelling. Just they don't just use it to because it's cool. They use it to like tell and like create empathy for some really like not common, but I don't know, just troublesome family scenarios. Let's go with.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which is
So, do we have any other thoughts on Gone Home, or should we move on?
secret tunnels are awesome, man. Just saying.
And I'm just gonna say, if you listen this far and you haven't played it yet, like I'm sorry because we ruined everything, but
Yeah,
you
we
should
gave
still
a
go
couple
play it.
spoiler warnings. Or just give it a couple months and just set a reminder on your phone. By Gone
We'll
Home.
put a spoiler warning in the description too.
Maybe if I feel like it.
Okay.
No, we will. We will. Yeah. So that is. I think I've pretty much rambled for all I've got to ramble on for Gone Home. Again, highly recommend.
I think we said environmental storytelling. I think we said the phrase environmental storytelling like 10 times.
Yeah, which is once we hit that number, we just stop. So we have to. No, but anyways, let's now move on. We got a cool piece in the media for you this week. So SteamSpy is this website, and basically it does its best to, in my understanding, data mine out like all the data on sales and things like that from Steam. So you can look up a specific game and you can see how well it's doing in terms of sales, how many units it's sold, and things like that. So here, I'll pull it up. So you can see kind of what games are trending. You can see how many people own the game, how many people have played it, average playtime, all sorts of kind of interesting information, which is pretty neat. So, but basically this guy who runs the website likes to send out all sorts of little blurbs at the end of the year to kind of go over the analysis of how well games are doing and things like that. So he released this year that over a third of the games on Steam were released in 2016. So basically that means that there were, let's say there were 2,000 games at the end of 2015. Another 1,000 would be released in 2016, which is insane because Steam's been around for at least 10 years or something. So, for it to grow that much in 1 year is absurd. So with that number, you would also expect to see a huge jump in the amount of money spent on games, right? The amount of games purchased and how much money that nets. But actually what the data shows is that that number is pretty much the same. So the spending in 2015, despite there being like 5,200 something less games on Steam, is almost the same.
Right.
Which is, a pretty big statement because you would just think if there's more games, like there's more to buy, so people will buy more.
I mean, yeah. So I feel like I mean, this isn't like a huge surprise to me, just because like just qualitatively, I've heard people observing over the last couple years that every game's on Steam now, and or just kind of complaining about the fact that there's just a lot of like low quality content just coming out on Steam.
Yeah.
So like the fact that there's more games than ever, and not necessarily more spending, is kind of like putting numbers to it, is kind of like putting numbers to like what people have already been noticing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, right. Like, I think, quality is more important than quantity, obviously, in a lot of cases. I mean, I'm kind of surprised, if you dig through Greenlight sometimes, or, you just, like, sometimes I'll get recommended a weird game because I like JRPGs and stuff.
Yeah.
And it'll recommend me a game that looks like some 12-year-old made it. And it's clearly an RPG maker. And and like, like you can just see from the screenshots, like the caliber of the dialogue in this, storytelling world they're trying to create. And like, you just like, and it, it's like, it's got like 6 mixed reviews and that's it. And it's like who put this through kind of thing, and I feel like that, just these RPG maker, like, small scale RPG makers.
Can you close that, please?
No, I can't.
Damn. Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Fields. Sam Fields' father. He was lucky enough to grace us with his explicatives for this podcast. Steam games. Yeah, so, there's lots more of these RPG Maker, which, don't get me wrong, I think RPG Maker is a cool tool. I used it when I didn't know how to program. But did I think what I made was Steam worthy? No. So not only is there are more games, but like, does that necessarily mean there's more like high caliber games? No. But then kind of my other theory on this is that like 2015 there were a lot of good games and lots of games out and things, and I think that I almost said shoon. But that showed,
Sure, yeah.
that showed with the number of sales, this big number, right, that didn't change this year. And kind of what I think is like, there's too many games now, so people are at the point where it's it's up to them, but ultimately people still have like the same amount of time to spend playing games and the same amount of money to spend on games. So it doesn't like. I mean, some people obviously are going to have bad spending habits, and I'm certainly.
We've all complained in the past, like, wow, I have like X number of games on Steam that I haven't even played.
Yeah, but
these darn sales.
Yeah, these darn sales, but even then, like, I still like. It like, I don't feel like I bought more games in 2016 because there were more games, if that makes sense. I feel like I spent roughly the same amount, which probably in years past I spent less. I'm not going to say I spent less because I buy a lot more games on sale now, whereas when I was younger there wasn't really like marketplace. I mean, sales just happen so much quicker now, but I bought a lot more games for $60 and stuff, but I bought a lot less games for $60. So again, I was allocating my money kind of for, the amount of time and the amount of games I could play in a year or whatever span of time.
Right.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this kind of affects, people's thoughts moving forward, like there was this whole, people talked about the indie apocalypse.
I mean, I don't know. Like, is Valve gonna like try and I mean, I don't know, like, yeah, I feel like some people might argue that they should like increase like the barrier to entry again. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and see, I mean, if the same amount of money went out, like, I guess that means it's more split up, but like, I still think that the games that are quality are the ones that are going to get most of the money, right? So like,
yeah,
I think, yeah, it to me it just kind of sounds like an alarming amount of games that didn't make an alarming amount of money or a notable amount of money made it onto the store. So this same like core amount of games that was released last year is like similarly released this year. and made a similar amount of money. And then, but also there's kind of this lower echelon that holds all these games that are breaking even or below, or or just kind of little one-offs and things like that.
Right.
And I don't know how that deals with free to play and stuff. I don't know how many free to play games were released this year versus last, or how much of that 1/3 is free to play. But I'd imagine it's not a huge margin. So it's still, I would say, significant data. SteamSpy cannot guarantee 100% accuracy, just in very nature. Because they're not the guy doesn't have an in with Steam. He just pulls the public data and has his website do the legwork on it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what 2017 holds. I thought we had a pretty slam dunk year in 2016. A lot of really cool games came out. Lots of sequels done right. Or is it called a sequel if it's the third game?
Yeah.
Okay, it's the sequel to the second one, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet, but I know an example is Uncharted 4 came out, and I I winced a little bit. I was like, oh man, because I just don't think things ever go good past 3. 3 for me is where most games either they peak or they buster out, and you walk if you peak and you walk if you buster out. But and from what you've told me, I've only just started Uncharted 3, but it sounded like you kind of thought they busted a little bit in Uncharted 3. It wasn't as good as the first two.
Yeah, I did.
And so for them to have the balls to
I remember 2 was so good. And
have the
3
balls. I mean, it's Uncharted. It's still going to sell incredibly well. But but to hear that they did it in stride, and this is some a lot of people's favorite in the series, is really cool to hear.
Yeah.
So props to that. I think just the industry itself is getting better at designing games, and there's less and Watch Dogs too. Sorry to keep going, but Watch Dogs 1 I did not play, but I heard was not that pretty.
Kind of lukewarm reception.
Yeah, but I think Ubisoft made the right call. I think that they went back to the drawing board, because Watch Dogs, I think, did a little bit of the No Man's Sky overhype, where people just thought possibilities were going to be truly endless, which is this dangerous, I can hack anything, meaning I can do anything, and we're still not close to that. That's no, in complete agency in games is still an urban legend.
It's a D&D.
Yeah, that's as close as you can get right now. But so with Watch Dogs 2, they were hey, a lot of people really like this concept, and we kind of shot for the moon and missed on the first one. Let's dial it in and really refine what we did have and what did work, and then bring in the spice that people wished was or thought was going to be in the first one that we can. And sounds like it did well. So I think this kind of reactive game design and stuff is really paying off for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's awesome. That's the coolest thing, you can
that you can access easily, people's thoughts on the game, and just use that in your next one.
And people realizing too that they should do that, the idea that you could design something in complete isolation and it like would be perfect is just wrong. Like, you just get jaded making a game. Like, you just see it too much and you don't understand. You have no idea. Like, it's really hard to feel what like a new player will feel.
I mean, as with like creating anything.
Yeah, totally. So, having so many ears to the ground, and like early access is cool for that reason and not cool for other reasons. But, Steam, the games, it's all gonna be good. 2017, man. Let's see what happens.
It's a new year.
Hell yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this one out with a quick games by association.
Okay.
For episode 6 here, for those unfamiliar, I just tried to Google that. That's not what I need to do. We go to this website called randomwordgenerator.com. And basically, I'm going to click generate. And it's going to give us a word, and then we're going to just kind of riff on that for a little bit. So We're not going to take spot because I always got to click the button first. So here we go. Handy. Wow.
Handy?
Yep.
I've got one already, dude.
Okay, give me a second.
Is handy like a hand?
Whatever, it's up to your interpretation.
Okay. No, I've got one. So.
Dang. All right, just go. I
right.
just have things that don't really make sense, but whatever.
Okay, the game is Glover, baby.
Glover. There we go.
A game where you are a glove named Glover.
Okay.
And you're a glove with a face named Glover.
N64, right?
N64, I believe it was on the PlayStation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Dreamcast. I don't know.
And you played it?
Yeah. So I remember that I played this game as a kid, and I didn't like it because, it was just, okay, so you're Glover, you have this ball, and you need to, like, navigate, I think you need to, like, get the ball to the goal. I might be wrong, but, it's been a long time. So you're Glover, and you walk on the ball with your middle and your ring fingers are like your legs, and then the index and the pinky are like the arms, and then like your face is on the hand right there.
Okay.
And you can do various tricks with this ball. So like you can walk around, but then when you hop on the ball, now you're like kind of rolling the ball around, and you're like a circus performer or something.
So it's like kind of a precursor to like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Dude, actually, like honestly, like here's the thing, because you can do various like tricks with the ball. Like you can walk on top of the ball and roll it around.
You do a sloppy stiffy.
You can like dribble the ball. I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe like.
Oh, you can just like become an actual hand, like use your hand like it's a floating
yeah. So
hand.
you can start floating like above the ball and like dribble it and stuff. And I think there's like a bunch of other little tricks you can do. And I just remember, like, basically I just was like, oh, I was a little kid. I was like, this game's lame. Like, I'm going to go play Mario because, like, that's a better platformer. So, but then recently I went on YouTube, and for some reason, I don't even know why. I was like, okay, let's check out some, like, Glover speedruns. This shit is insane. Like, it made me want to go and play it again. I don't have the game anymore. But it made me want to, like, go play it again because, like, the stuff they were doing, like, it really looked like you had, like, a really full degree of, like, control over this ball. If you cared to, like, learn all the moves and stuff.
Dang. So kind of like how...
was interesting. Watching it, like...
You're cutting out on us.
Oh, I was done talking.
Okay. Yeah, which, speaking of, I just saw today, Games Done Quick is going on right now. I don't know if it's been going on all weekend, but they were doing Ocarina of Time. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
So if you're not familiar, Games Done Quick is this big like charity stream that happens, I think, a couple times a year. And basically they get out all these speedrunners. And they just go on stream and speedrun games. And it's just really interesting because they kind of have like the speedrunner do commentary as they go. Yeah. So they give you a lot of insights. They're like, okay, right here is like, there's like a 33% chance that this happens and I save a minute, and a 33 or a 66% chance, that I just have to go around or whatever.
That sounds awesome.
They'll tell you how they do all their hidden tricks and glitches. And so, it's like, I don't know, it hasn't really inspired me to speedrun, but it's just very interesting to watch.
They need to do Glover. Can we just send an email and just be like, hey, do Glover?
You could look it up. They might have already done it. So, let's see. I watched Pikmin on there. Pikmin was incredible because this guy got all 30 parts in like 9 days or something, which is like insane.
Right.
Because that took me probably like 20-something days to get all 30.
Right.
So just super efficiency. And then Mario Sunshine I'm sure it's been on there, but there's actually like a pretty sizable, not like huge, but there is a community for Sunshine speedrunning, and it's pretty neat. There's like, Mario's like jumping, wall jumping, backflipping, all of those capabilities really get flexed in the speedrun like community. So if you just ever go on Twitch and you're bored, just like search Sunshine and someone's probably streaming a speedrun. If you're into Smash,
Good to know.
Chillin, Liquid Chillin Dude 829. He does streams of Sunshine every once in a while, and he's pretty fun to watch. Yeah. So when you said, to wrap this up, when you said hand, like when you brought it to the hand world, I thought of Master Hand from Smash Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Probably because I was watching a tournament yesterday, and I'm getting all psyched over it, and the rankings are coming out, which is cool. And then before that, I thought of like Animal Crossing / Stardew Valley, and like a handyman or something. Like I couldn't really draw the connection. I think it's just because I played Stardew Valley like almost all of yesterday, so it's just burned into my mind.
Totally.
But yeah, Stardew Valley, holy crap, that's a story for another day.
Okay.
Yeah, any closing thoughts on handy?
I wish I still had Glover.
All right. Well, too bad. Yeah, thanks again for tuning in. Sorry for the little delay. Things got kind of crazy around the holidays, and we were actually in the process of recording this episode when my internet got shut off like permanently because stories. But anyway, so it's definitely been a little bit of a delay, but we're back for 2017. You can expect us every other Sunday.
Back in 2017, baby.
iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, The Mix, and got a little something on Black Friday. Rocking a blue snowball myself now, so the P's and S's.
So that audio quality. Soon I'm going to set up a green screen right here, and then it's going to look like I'm at the beach.
Yeah.
So then we'll be full production quality.
And yep. And I'll just not get a green screen, just so that you can feel like it's still real life.
I'll be like, oh, hey, man, I'm here out in Hawaii.
Sipping my
Yeah,
tea.
sure, let's do the podcast. I got a second. And I'll just have like a drink in my hand. Sunglasses, spray tan.
All right, well, and then to close this out, if you listen to this episode and you've made it through all of our rambling about the beach and Glover and everything, please send us an email, thesplatshow@gmail.com. It can just be a smiley face, just let us know you're listening.
Say hi.
Yeah, or just ask us a question like,
what's your favorite color?
Yeah, you were talking about MDMA, or you were talking about MDA, but have you ever done MDMA? kind of messed up my joke there.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'd really appreciate it. We'll give you a little shout out on the next episode, and if you don't want the shout out, you can let us know, but we might do it anyway. Yeah, we're on Twitter is where we'll be pushing out the notifications on when it is and everything. And then if you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast channels on Google Play and iTunes, you will just get an email letting you know we're live. Sweet. Have a happy new year, and talk to you in a couple weeks, which actually a couple weeks is something special. So we'll put together something special for you guys. All right. Later.